Labor's Misinformation and Disinformation Bill, originally drafted by the Liberal government, I might add, much to their eternal shame, looms large over the nation. Now, this week, the Australian Human Rights Commission has shared an article by Lorraine Finlay titled "Why the Misinformation Bill Risks Freedoms It Aims to Protect." Now, part of the discussion insists that the government should not be allowed to exempt itself from the rules it intends to place upon citizens. It also raises concerns about the threshold for so-called harm, which has not been defined, leaving us with a piece of legislation that could be easily abused. Now, Senator, does the Australian Human Rights Commission hold legitimate concerns for Labor's bill, and should it be sent back for review, or, as many of us would prefer, scrapped altogether?
Scrapped altogether. It's a censorship bill, that's all it is. And you raised a very important point from the Human Rights Commissioner's article. Lorraine Finlay has done a fabulous job on commenting on The Voice, and a fabulous job on commenting on the Misinformation Disinformation Bill, a censorship bill. She quite rightly points out that the government is exempt from misinformation, disinformation provisions. So is the media. But the citizens, social media, are not exempt. They're the ones who are going to be targeted. Does that mean then, Alexandra, that the government can say whatever it wants, any lies, and yet the opposition, whoever the opposition is at the time, can say nothing? That's what it looks like to me. What we need, there is a need for some protection from some types of speech. For example, censorship for sexual exploitation of children, that kind of thing. But it must be very limited. What I suggest we need is some clear guidelines. This is very, very vague. There are no definitions of truth, not even a definition or a specification of who will decide the truth. So we're leaving it up to bureaucrats. Then there's open-ended regulations to come that will mean that the government of the day can change as it wants. This is about censorship, and what we need to do is I made a note of we need data logged as a basis for decisions if this goes ahead, and we need records kept and open to the public for scrutiny to hold the fact-checkers accountable. That's what we need. But above all, Alexandra, I agree with you. We don't need this legislation. Let the people make up their mind. We've already got censorship in place for protecting children. That's all we need.
Well, interesting that we use the excuse of children. Both the Online Safety Bill in the UK and our Misinformation, Disinformation and Online Safety Bills in Australia all use the exact same excuse of it's to protect the children, either from sexual exploitation or bullying. Now, the first act of the UK Parliament's Online Safety Bill was to attack an adult and to lean on social media programs to remove an adult from his businesses on online platforms, not to protect children. And this is why we have to be super careful about using the excuse of children to implement wide-scale digital censorship on the people of these nations.